everybody, and welcome to this month's Myth of the Month. Now, since St. Patrick's Day is coming up, today we're going to be telling stories about leprechauns. Leprechauns are fairy folk from Irish folklore. These tiny tricksters look similar to gnomes or elves and are said to be at the tallest the size of a 3-year-old child, but they can be even smaller and make themselves invisible. No one is sure where leprechauns come from. They may be children from other types of fairies, but no one really knows for sure. It is believed that there are no female leprechauns. They are not particularly good or evil, but they do love playing pranks. They might ride sheep or dogs around like horses in the middle of the night, or cause small household accidents. Leprechauns have white or red beards and dress in green. While this is how people see them today, in early legends, leprechauns actually dressed in red. They live in underground caves or in hollow tree trunks, and are one of the only fairy folk to have a job. They're shoemakers. Why do they make so many tiny shoes? Leprechauns love music and dancing. They dance so much that they are constantly wearing out their shoes and need new ones. Some legends say this is how they earn their pots of gold. Most spirits and fairies have a distinctive sound you can hear when you are close to them. When a leprechaun is nearby, you can hear the tap-tap-tapping of their tiny cobbler hammers. You've probably heard that a leprechaun hides his gold at the end of the rainbow. While you could try to go looking there, you can also acquire this gold by catching a leprechaun. However, this isn't as easy as it sounds. You must first find one, and then be sneaky or clever enough to catch him. If you manage this, he must give you his gold or grant you a wish. But keep in mind, leprechauns are sneaky. He will try to trick his way out of giving you your reward. For example, in one famous story, a man managed to catch a leprechaun. He demanded that the leprechaun tell him where he kept his pot of gold hidden. The leprechaun agreed to reveal his hiding spot, leading the man to a bush. He told the man that he would have to dig deep underground to reach the gold. The man didn't have any tools to dig with on him, so he tied his red scarf to the bush. This way he would remember which bush to dig underneath. He let the leprechaun go and ran home to get a shovel. When he came back a few minutes later, he found that every tree and bush in the area now had a red scarf tied to it, making it impossible to tell where he needed to dig. The last known leprechaun sighting was in Carlingford, Ireland, in 1989. Pub owner P.J. O'Hare heard a scream from a nearby well. When he went to investigate, he found a leprechaun skeleton and small, distinctive green clothing. He took these back with him and put them on display in his pub. Many people believe this was an elaborate hoax, but many believe it is real. What do you think? Either way, this event inspired an annual leprechaun hunt in the town. But instead of real leprechauns, people look for fake plastic ones instead. Leprechauns are protected under European law with protected land in Carlingford. It is said that 236 remaining living leprechauns live there. While most leprechauns live in Ireland, you can sometimes find them elsewhere. In the United States, Portland, Oregon claims to have the largest leprechaun colony west of Ireland, in Mill Ends Park. In 1946, a man named Dick Fagan had an office overlooking a parkway. He noticed a small hole in the median meant for a light pole. The light pole was never installed, so once weeds started to grow in it, Fagan planted flowers there instead. One day, while looking out his office window, he spotted a leprechaun digging in the tiny garden. He ran outside and grabbed the leprechaun before he could disappear. The leprechaun's name was Patrick O'Toole, and he agreed to grant Fagan a wish. Fagan wished to have a park of his very own, but he didn't specify where he wanted it or how big he wanted it to be, so O'Toole gave him the tiny hole in the median. Other leprechauns soon took up residence in the small park with its single tiny tree. O'Toole was their leader, and he allowed himself to be seen and heard only by Fagan. One day, the mayor of Portland wanted to make an 11 o'clock curfew for all parks in the city. The leprechauns weren't happy about this, as it would mean they would have to leave their home every night. O'Toole had Fagan send a message to the mayor. If he went ahead with this plan, he would place a leprechaun curse on him. The mayor quickly decided that the leprechauns would be allowed to stay in their tiny park as long as they liked. Mill Ends was dedicated on St. Patrick's Day in 1948 and made an official city park, also on St. Patrick's Day, in 1976. It is only 2 square feet and has held the Guinness World Record for world's smallest park since 1971. Residents and visitors have added to the park to make things a little nicer for its tiny, elusive residents, such as tiny swimming pools, miniature statues, and even a small Ferris wheel. To this day, St. Patrick's Day events are hosted around the park and people pay it a visit, hoping to catch a glimpse of the tiny folk living there. Thank you for joining us for this month's Myth of the Month. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day, and we will see you next time.